Do you know, the reason why you had a moment of silence there was because Katie and I were going, no, that's the sweeper that just arrives in the middle of the adverts. We both said, no, don't worry. It always gives us a bit of a shock. And there it was. It was actually the break to come back. You are listening to the Agenda programme with me, Georgia Tolley. I should pretend I'm not Georgia for the moment so that you don't notice the unprofessionalism. But we are discussing the FIRE movement on the programme this morning. We're getting inspiration from all sorts of people who've actually managed to retire in their 40s by following quite simple rules. Basically, you have to live really frugally, you have to save really aggressively, and then you invest it wisely. And then you just sit back and you wait for the compound interest to begin. But is that really achievable for those of us who are living and working here in the UAE? Because that's what matters to us. Now, the Emirates, of course, is often seen as an amazing place to build wealth, in part because we, don't have tax on our salaries. There's strong earning potential. But then there are also downsides. It's quite easy to spend money here as well. So could we realistically achieve financial independence while we're living here? Well, let's get some advice. Joining us now is Carol Glynn. She's from Conscious Finance Coaching, where, as you can imagine, she works as a finance coach. Carol, lovely to have you in the studio. How are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm very pleased to hear it. And what's so interesting is I mentioned this FIRE movement. By the way, FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And I mentioned it on the Business Breakfast this morning. And Brandy went, oh my gosh, there's a really big FIRE movement here in the UAE, which I didn't know about. And does that indicate that it is something that we could realistically achieve while working in the Emirates?
I know people who are doing it. I work with people who are doing it. So it's like anything in life, right? Anything is possible to a certain extent, but it's also super personal. So it might be more difficult to someone who has high expenses and a lower income. You've got a higher income and lower expenses, then of course it's more achievable. But the people that I see that are achieving it, they are hyper intentional with how they live. So where they live, what they engage in. They are very careful with their money. And one thing I've seen as well where people, let's say, lose momentum is that piece you mentioned. You have to invest the money. Because I've seen where people think, I'll save while I'm here. But it's sitting in the bank effectively losing money. You're not working towards financial independence that way. It needs to get invested.
Asking for a friend, but is this conceivable when you have children?
I do think it makes it significantly harder because the people that you're absolutely right, the people that I work with don't have children who are doing it.
Because every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, but the school fees cost 70 grand a year and I've got 2 children.
And the activities.
Yeah.
And all they're just their general cost of living.
Yeah.
It definitely slows you down. If you have children and you want to do it, then it will slow you down because it's not just their cost now, but your cost of living, your needs extend further. So like at 40, I mean, I'm past 40, my kids are only 12 and 13. I still have to pay for their 3rd level education.
Yeah.
So it's a higher number of financial independence to achieve.
Yeah, and then help them buy a car maybe, and then help them with the deposit for their first flat, and then
it's a different dynamic.
Then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've got kids the same age actually, and so I think realistically for me it's a bit of a pipe dream. But obviously everyone here still needs to save for their retirement for whenever it comes about. So, first of all, you mentioned there that we all know how to spend less money, right? Like we don't need advice on that. It's clear as day. But how about that investing it wisely? Because a huge element of this is that idea of compounding. Okay, so first of all, what is compounding?
So compounding it's like a snowball effect. So you start with a small amount and then it grows and then you get paid dividends, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, is when the company that you're invested in makes profits and shares some of those profits with you as a shareholder. So that is passive income. Like that is the definition of passive income. You've done nothing. Someone's just giving you money, you invested and give you money back. No work. What you do is you take that dividend and you reinvest. So you don't take the money out and spend it, you put it back in and you buy more shares. And what that does is the next time a dividend is issued, because it's based off how many shares you own, you've got free shares, you've got even more free money, and you reinvest, and it creates that snowball effect, so it compounds. And you combine that with what the stock market has done consistently since inception, increase on average 10% per year. So it's increasing in value, and that value is compounded by the increase in shares that you have. The more shares, the more value you have.
Okay, 2 questions. I'm not sure which to ask first. What happens if the stock market goes down?
If you have time, let's say it's still another 5, 10, 15 years to when you need the money, you celebrate, because then everything is on sale and you're buying the shares at a discount. They're cheaper. If it goes down and you're getting close to retirement, this is something that catches and worries people naturally. But what we don't realize is when I turn whatever age, right? Let's say I'm 65 and I'm retiring, I'm not taking out all of the money. I'm only taking out what I want to live on. So I still hopefully have maybe 30 years. So I don't care. Okay, it might be I'm selling a little bit right now, but I've already earned enough profit because I've been investing for maybe 20 years at that point. So even though it's down, it's still higher than what it initially cost me to invest. So I'm still making profit, and I just wait because just let it do its thing. It'll go back up again.
And this really is the $1 million question, or the million dirham question. How do you choose what to invest it in? Because, there's, for anyone who's I did it myself fairly recently. For anyone sort of looking at the options of what you invest in the stock market, there's so many ETFs, there's so many bonds, there's individual companies' shares. Like, how do you pick from millions of options?
So I always recommend starting with a worldwide diversified ETF, an exchange traded fund. And what that will do is give you access to maybe 3.5 up to 7,000 different investments, different companies with just one share. And actually what has been proven time and time again, without exception that I have seen, and I'm always looking for research that contradicts what I'm saying to make sure, I'm confident, that will earn you the most money. It will just being hyper diversified, one share maybe in lots of different equities and lots of different companies, rather than what we're kind of told regularly is buy, sell, get the best new company. Last night I did a talk. Someone asked me, what about AI? Should we be investing in AI? Back in March, everybody was talking about oil. Should we be investing in oil? And you can get ETFs in all of them as well. But I say if I have a worldwide diversified ETF, I have them. It's all in there.
And so how do you do that? Like, if someone's listening right now and you're like, go buy an ETF, so you know that you've got that phrase. Do you go to a broker or a bank or a finance person and ask them to do it for you? Or how do you get access to the stock market?
Yeah. So what I advocate for and teach is how to do it yourself. And what you do to get access to the stock market, you open up a brokerage account. I recommend opening up like a brokerage account that's its sole purpose, so not necessarily through your bank, which a lot of banks do offer that. But I like to have it separate. A brokerage, something like Interactive Brokers, is a good, super low cost. Not that easy to open up with the forms, but once you get past the forms, then it's okay. And what I say that's like your Amazon for shares, right? So that's your mechanism to go in and go, oh, here are all of my options. Help me buy the options that I want. And then you go in and look for there's so many recommendations. There's so many Facebook pages here giving great free advice. Simply FI is one of them that talks about this a lot. But to be honest, like I teach people now as well, you can ask something like ChatGPT or Claude and just say, give me recommendations of at least 5 ETFs that are worldwide diversified, are doing blah, 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 and then go and do your own research. Don't rely on it. That's just giving you ideas, and then go and do your own research.
Carol, it is always a pleasure speaking to you. You're so sort of clear and concise and precise. And I feel like I know where to go now. So thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate your help. I will see you soon, I hope.
Yeah.
We'll get you back on the radio anytime. But if people want to check out your website, where do they go?
ConsciousFinanceCoaching.com.
Thank you very much indeed. And that does bring us to a close of your agenda programme for today and for this week. Thank you so much for listening. It's always a pleasure to keep you company here on Dubai 103.8. I am actually, you might can hear it in my voice, I am off on holiday for a few weeks. I'm very excited about it. Katie Chambers will be sitting in the hot seat, so she will be back from 10 a.m. on Monday. I hope if you are going away, you have a fantastic holiday. I will be back at the end of July, and but between now and then, stay well. See ya. Bye.
This is Dubai Eye 103.8.
Your home of news, business